mama, bitch? What's your mama, bitch?
What's going on, y'all? How y'all feeling out there? All right, we live now. Welcome to another edition of Gen Sports Corner, back at you for April 19th, 2023. We're going to get into the big fight coming up tomorrow night, April 20th. You know, some of y'all going to be drinking, some of y'all going to be rolling up, whatever you prefer. Just know that there's going to be fireworks tomorrow at Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia at the Barclays Center. 8 o'clock, the events start, and then 11 o'clock, the main festivities are set to take place. Before I get into it, make sure you like and subscribe. This is to the YouTube fans. And then on Facebook, you know, like the video, share the word, because I'm going to give my prediction and my breakdown of the fight and what I think is going to happen, along with some other news and notes for boxing. And then I'll be, you know, dropping a video tomorrow for the Sixers. You know, big win over the Heat. Big win. Big. You know what? It was a Batum bonanza. But that being said, let's go ahead and get into this boxing match because, yo, tonight was crazy, okay? I think just over, 2 hours ago, we had the weigh-in with Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. And, look, Devin Haney goes up there and he weighs in everything. He weighed in second. And he made weight 140 on the dot, good to go. No antics, no, he's locked in, focused. And then before that, Ryan Garcia weighed in. And first off, he comes on there with that erratic energy. And then he weighs in. And I think he shotgunned the beer before they called the weight. He gets on the scale and he shotguns what appears to be a beer. And then he weighs in 3.5 pounds overweight. I believe he was buck 43.2 or buck 43.5. Either way, extremely unprofessional. You've been training for this fight for at least 8 weeks, if not longer. And you come into one of the biggest fights of your life against one of your lifelong rivals since y'all were yay high, right? And you come in 3.5 pounds overweight and you have this shotgun and the beer antics. And then earlier in the week, you guys had the shoving match, right? Devin Haney comes in and says, yo, I'm going to drown you. You know, i.e., I'm going to take you to deep waters and I'm going to get you up out of this sport, right? And then Ryan Garcia says, where's your mom? Where's your mom? Where's your mom? Don't know where that came from. Don't know the purpose of that, but he got the reaction that he was looking for. Devin Haney put his hand on his neck and pushed him, and it was a whole big thing. And Ryan Garcia, he got what he wanted. Whether he's losing his mind like some people think, or whether he's trolling and he's a master manipulator, he got the response he was looking to elicit. Okay, and now you're less than 24 hours away from fight night. And I want you guys to think about this. I want you to think about everything that's transpired over the past, let's say, even 3 years, all the way up to this point. And you tell me if you think that this is a fighter that's prepared to go into the fight tomorrow night. Think about that as I go over the tail of the tape and the breakdown. And then I'll give you my answer at the end of this video. And I'll try to keep it brief. But think about that as I'm talking about these things, okay? So let's go ahead and look at the tail of the tape for this fight coming up. And you're looking at two guys in the prime of their careers, really. I mean, you know, I think they're both 27 years old or close to that age, right? So we look at Devin Haney, American, born and raised, born on November 17, 1998. So that makes him 26 going on 27. Yep. 25 going on 26, excuse me. Stands 5'8", with a 71-inch reach, and he's 31 wins, no losses, with 15 of those wins by way of knockout. And then you go ahead and look at his last couple fights, and you see the progression he's had, all right? And I'm not even going to go back too far, but just look at these guys' last two fights. And Devin Haney, his last fight was against Regis Prograis. His first fight after moving up to 140. Regis Prograis was a champion. He had the WBC belt, if I'm not mistaken. And he went up to 140, and he didn't just win, but he made him look ordinary and average. And look, I know Regis Prograis isn't the fastest guy. He's pretty much a power guy. But he made it look easy. And then the fight before that, you had the fight against Vasyl Lomachenko, a fight in which I thought he lost to Loma, but it was a very good fight. And those fights, regardless of the outcome, they shaped him, they molded him, they sharpened his skills. When you go against dogs like that, short of you getting knocked out and really having a bad loss, the only thing that fights like that do is make you better. And I think you're seeing the progression of him as a fighter, and he's already been undisputed champ at 135. He went up and got a belt at 140, and he's only ascending. He's getting better. Now, on the flip side, look at Ryan Garcia. Last two fights. 2 fights ago, he had the loss against Tank Davis. Went into that fight, and he had success in spots. And early on, he hurt Tank Davis, in my opinion, and he had him in a spot where he could have really dealt damage, but he got too over eager. He was a little overzealous, and he threw that blinding left hook 4 times in a row. And you can't do that at this level. You can get away with that in the amateurs. You can't do that at this level. And he got caught, and that was how the first knockdown happened. But that was really, you have to give credit to Tank Davis, but you also have to give credit, I guess, in the other sense of the word, to Ryan Garcia for being very foolish and overzealous in a spot where he didn't have to be. He could have just kept using the jab, been patient, stayed disciplined, and worked to really put Tank Davis in a spot that he's never been at in his pro career. So the talent is there. The speed is there. The quickness is there. He has power, especially in that left hand. And then coming off that loss against Tank Davis, he bounced back against Oscar Duarte, who's a very, very good fighter. You're talking about a guy that has power, a guy that wants to be aggressive, come forward and get you up out of there. And he was able to not just beat him, but he knocked him. He stopped him, man. That's huge. This dude's never been stopped. This is the type of guy in the same, not same style, but in the same vein of like an Earl Spence. He's going to come forward. He'll take some shots, but he really just looking to take the shot, see what your power feel like, and then he going to wear your ass out, take you behind the shed, and just beat you the fuck up. That's what Oscar Duarte does. And Ryan Garcia, to his credit, that ugly ass shoulder roll, he was able to hold him off for long enough and actually take him to deep waters and beat him. So that was actually not just a great bounce back win, but a very good win against a high level opponent. Now, you know he has to be feeling confidence going into this fight on top of the history they've had together, because they faced off against each other 6 times in the amateurs. Devin winning 3 and then Ryan winning 3. Now, this is their 7th fight, so they already know each other very well. So there's not really a lot to talk about here beyond the things that they've improved upon in the pros. All right, so that's the background information on these guys. Now let's go ahead and get down to some of the key moments at the press conference. Now, you look at the press conference, Ryan Garcia came 3.2 pounds overweight, I believe. So according to their bet that they made pre-fight, it was Ryan Garcia would have to pay $500,000 for every pound that he was overweight. I don't know when they made this bet, but Bill Haney was alluding to that. Now, I just saw an interview from Mike Coppinger, and he said that sources that saw the contract said that he'll probably be paying the Haney team around $600,000. I mean, you would hope he would make good on the bet he made on his word, but technically he's only on the hook for $600K. Now, when you zoom out and think about this, Ryan Garcia is going to make upwards of probably around $20 million. So $1.5 million is a slap on the wrist. I don't really think he's thinking about that. And I think this was a very calculated move. I think he wanted to come in overweight. He had no intention of coming in and making weight. He wanted to come in heavier to be able to take that advantage if Devin Haney was ever going to have it away from him. Okay, because we know Devin Haney is going to weigh in at 140 and probably going to go up probably like 15 pounds come fight night. So I'd expect Devin to be walking around 154 to 157-ish pounds, probably more close to like 154, 155. And I think Ryan Garcia will probably come in $155 to $160 come fight night. We'll see how big they look, but you already seen he was looking big coming into the weigh-in. So this shouldn't really be shocking, but it just confirms people's thoughts in one direction or another. They either look at him as a genius who's coming in and saying, "Hey, I'm gonna do what I want, and I'm going to come in heavy. I'll pay the fine. Don't care. I'm just going to knock you the hell out." I'm doing all these antics on social media, but when you see those video clips, it's obvious that he's training very hard. And then at the weigh-ins and at the press conferences and at all these different events, he doesn't look afraid at all. He looks very locked in. It looks like somebody who's been your arch nemesis for 10 years. He's giving off that energy, and vice versa. Devin Haney, they look like two brothers that have bad blood between them. That's just, or maybe two very close cousins that have very bad blood between them. That's what this seems like. There is a certain level of respect because of the rivalry they had so long, but there's a certain level of venom and animosity. They want to knock each other's heads off. And that's what everybody's really showing up to this fight for. So let's go ahead and look at the keys to victory here. So keys to victory for Devin Haney, he has to use that jab. He has one of the best jabs in the game. Use that jab, number one. Second key to victory for him, use your feet, because you have very, very good feet. They bring you in danger and they bring you out of danger, and they allow you to do a lot of things you're able to do defensively and offensively. And then third, the stamina, the gas tank. We don't really have to question that. We know that he can go 12 rounds. And I'll go back to that Loma fight. He was able to dig deep in that 12th round. Did I think he won the fight? No. Did I think he won the fight? No. But he showed that he was able to dig down deep against one of the best technical fighters that I've ever seen, honestly. So the stamina, the jab, and the feet. That's the keys to victory for Devin Haney. You know, I'm not going to mention the defense because we already know that. Keys to victory for Ryan Garcia. Jab. Again, he has a very good jab. He's going to have to use his jab as well. I think it's going to be a continuation of what we saw in the amateurs, where they're trying to out-jab each other and establish their jab over their opponent. Second key to victory for Ryan Garcia. Using the right hand. Don't just get overly reliant on your left hand, i.e. the left hook. You have to vary it up and give him different angles, different things to think about. Because if you don't, it's going to be either a very short night or it's going to be a long night that is prefaced by good work by Haney early and leading up to a point that is just inevitable where Ryan will lose. Right? So he's going to have to establish that right hand early, preferably the straight right. Especially if you throw that left hook, and then you bring that back, pop, bring that right, and move your head off the line. And then 3, nice segue, move your head off the line. He stands up too stiff, and he doesn't move his head off the line as much as I would like to see. So not moving your head off the line and being too stiff, you're there to get countered, especially when you throw that check left hook. You know that right could be coming after it, right? And I mentioned this in the Ngannou and Joshua fight, that he doesn't have a lazy left hook, obviously, like Ngannou. But however, when you're known for throwing a left hook and people know that's coming, you have to know that straight right is going to be coming with some gas on it. Even if Devin Haney's not the hardest hitter, none of them punches tickle. So you have to be very mindful of that. And then to the body, if you're just stiff and you're always standing in one spot, especially straight up and down, Devin Haney's going to go to that body like he did against Lomachenko. That was where he had some success, and like he did against Regis Prograis. So he's going to have to really, I think he started to tighten up that right hand when he throws the left hook, keeping it up. But he's going to have to really focus on the head movement and not being too stiff straight up and down. Because I think that his feet have gotten a little bit better. People look at his feet in some of the training videos and say, oh, his feet still messed up. No, I saw a couple of recent ones, and I'm looking at his feet. I'm like, they're obviously not as good as Devin Haney's, but they're more than good enough to get him a win if he's doing the other things right. I just don't know if it will be enough. Okay? Now, looking at the keys, the different attributes, start off with speed. That's going to go to Ryan Garcia. Devin Haney is very fast, but Ryan Garcia, he got some super speed. Okay, so speed goes to Ryan Garcia. Power, that's also going to go to Ryan Garcia. I don't think that he's like a super duper knockout artist. And we haven't seen him do it at 140 against higher level opponents, but he definitely has power in that left hand. We know that. That's why they call it the ghost left hook. Um, Again, with speed and power, Devin Haney doesn't have those two attributes to the degree that Ryan does, but he has a good amount of it. So it's not gonna. I think Ryan Garcia is gonna be surprised by Devin Haney's quickness in that ring. Let me go ahead and read a comment real quick before I go on to the next attribute. Mr. Lynch, thank you for coming in. Craig says, I'm going with Garcia by knockout. Okay. Devin Haney's chin is weak. We seen that in the Loma fight. We did see that in the Loma fight. We saw that in the fight against Jorge Linares as well. He was teeing off on an older Jorge Linares, former champion, and in round 10, he got a little too comfortable and he got the chicken legs going back to the round. He was actually lucky. He got saved by the bell, in my opinion. And he also got rocked by somebody else. Their name is slipping my mind right now. Okay. Interesting. I'll give you my prediction after I get through the last couple of attributes here. So speed and power to Ryan, footwork clearly to Devin Haney. Devin Haney has some of the best footwork in the game. He's up there with the elites in that category. And I just said Ryan Garcia, his footwork's gotten better to the point that it's solid, but it's not where Devin Haney's is at. So that's where it's going to go to Devin. Defense, Devin Haney, one of the best defensive fighters in boxing. One of the best defensive fighters in boxing. I'll say it again. One of the best defensive fighters in boxing. Okay? And you look at the last fight, and I want everybody, if you get a chance tonight or tomorrow before the fight, go check out Mighty Mouse. I believe Demetrius Johnson. Forgive me if I got your name wrong, but one of the best fighters in the UFC that I've ever seen. And it's a shame that he didn't get the promotion he deserved. But he was doing a video breakdown, a film study of the fight between Ryan Garcia and Oscar Duarte. And he's pointing out these different spots where he's doing a shoulder roll and he has his back turned. But more importantly, the head turned. You can't see what's coming. And all this is open. No. Devin Haney, Devin Haney and his team are looking at the film. Hell, Bill Haney and the team might be looking at the film of Demetrius Johnson, looking at the film of Ryan Garcia and pointing out the same things. He has to clean that up. Derrick James has to clean that up if he didn't already in training camp, right? If they didn't, it's going to be a short night, okay? But, you're looking at a lot of the mitt work and whatnot, and I would assume during training camp, he's tightened up some of those things. Even on the mitts, I'm just saying that right hand, he's like da-da-da-da, boom, right hand coming up, moving the head a little bit. We just have to see if that's going to translate into the fight, right? Because we can go back to Ricky Hatton versus Manny Pacquiao, right? Floyd Mayweather's dad started training Ricky after he lost to Floyd Jr., and you saw him in training camp, defense was tight, da-da-da-da-da, Ricky all over the place. But in the fight, when Manny landed that first punch, all that stuff went out that window, and he went back to being Ricky Hatton. And then he got knocked out in quick succession in the second round. I don't know if Ryan Garcia is that undisciplined. I don't think he is. I think he's had more experience, more amateur experience against higher level competition, including Devin. So I think he'll be better, but defense clearly to Devin Haney. Stamina. Slight advantage to Devin Haney. But Ryan Garcia, these are two young fellas, 25, 26, whatever, in the prime of their career, in the prime of their going into their prime. They're starting to get their grown man strength, and they're starting to really grow into their bodies. Hence why they're moving up in weight. I think that I give a slight edge to Devin Haney, and we've seen him do it against the highest level of competition, especially in that Lomachenko fight. He had to dig deep. And then we look at ring IQ. Devin Haney. Again, I'll keep going back to those recent fights against top-level guys. You look at all these other guys in boxing right now. You look at Tank Davis. You look at Ryan Garcia. You look at Shakur Stevenson. Look at their resumes and who they're fighting. Name one fighter on their resume that stacks up to the guys that Devin Haney's been fighting in his past 5 fights. You look, Regis Prograis. He's a boogeyman at 140. Even like getting a little older, he's a spark plug, man. Got him up out of there. You look at Lomachenko, even at 36, one of the best pound for pound fighters in the sport still. I think he lost, but he was able to still dig deep, and he was getting rocked in rounds 9, 10, and 11. He dug deep and came back and was able to show me something, man. So I gotta go with Devin Haney there, man. He's able to keep your mind focused even when you're walking through the crucible. Absolutely, Ryan definitely did win that. Ryan Garcia, he had to go through the crucible against Luke Campbell when he got knocked down, got chin checked, got back up and stopped Luke Campbell, got gut checked by Gervonta Davis. It didn't seem like it changed his mental. He said it. He came in, drained down in weight. Tank had the rehydration clause where he couldn't gain more than 10 pounds after the weigh-in before fight night. So he came in like a walking dead man. And I can believe him when he says that because you just look at the facts, like I just said. And he's coming into this fight with supreme confidence after getting his get back against Oscar Duarte. So, look, I think he's gotten better as well. We can't discount that. But I still think the ring IQ goes to Devin Haney. He's always been a great defensive fighter. He's only gotten better in the past couple fights, and I give that to him. Experience, again, Devin Haney. Just the caliber of opponents and the activity. He stays active. Then lastly, the X factor. I'm going to give the X factor to Ryan Garcia because that left hook, you could say he's a one-trick pony, but it's a hell of a trick. Tank Davis knew the left hook was coming, still couldn't stop it, still got caught by the left hook, right? Now, he was able to navigate through those waters because of what? Ring IQ and experience, so he didn't panic. However, even somebody that knows it's coming, who has a high level IQ, they still get caught. We saw Floyd get caught by Chop Chop Corley. I think that was by a left hook. I think Chop Chop Corley caught Floyd with a left hook to the body or to the head. You know that's coming, but it's still different when you're in the ring, right? So everybody has a puncher's chance. And that X factor goes to Ryan because he puts people out. When he gets you hurt with that left hook, he gonna get you up out of there. I think Tank was one of the few guys that he wasn't able to end in that fight, right? So that's why I give the X factor to Ryan. But overall, I think I had 1, 2, 3 for Ryan. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 categories for Devin Haney and 3 categories for Ryan Garcia, and that's why I'm going to go overall with Devin Haney for this to win this fight. I don't know if it's going to be by knockout. I don't think so. Devin Haney has solid power. He has solid pop in his punch, but he's not somebody that's sending people's heads to the third row. I do think that my hunch of how this is going to play out is that the first 4 to 5 rounds, Ryan Garcia is going to be right there. If anything, Devin Haney better not get caught in the first 5 rounds because it could be a short night for him as well. But I think once we get past those 4 to 5 rounds and Devin Haney is able to download the data and start to try some things and see a few things work, then I think he's slowly going to be able to break Ryan down over the course of the remaining course of the fight, whether that's by stoppage or whether that's by decision. So I'm going with Devin Haney to win this fight. I don't like the antics. I don't necessarily think he's going to lose because of the antics, but I do think that while he's focused, he's not as focused as Devin Haney is, and he needs to be. So that's my opinion. Let's go ahead and look at the comments. Let's see what Craig got to say over here. He says, I agree with Haney speed, but Ryan would adjust. Yeah, I agree with that too. Def got saved by the bell against Linares. And you thought Loma won. Yeah, I completely agree. So we got one person, me, that thinks Devin's going to win. We got Craig Lynch. Shout out to you. He thinks Ryan's going to win. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. Let me know what time it's going to be tomorrow, because regardless of who you think is going to win, we've already had fireworks at multiple points in this fight week. And it has to be one of the most bizarre fight weeks that I've ever seen. And this is, you're talking to somebody that's seen Mike Tyson go off road, go AWOL with some of the shit he's done. Ryan Garcia, whew, you can't say he ain't entertaining. And then lastly, yo, I'm gonna appreciate you, bro. You said you need your own podcast. I can watch this all day, bro. You know your stuff. I appreciate that. We're going to kick it up and ramp it up as we keep moving forward. You know, as you all know, for those of you that don't, I'm working on my PhD, amongst other things, coaching baseball, playing baseball, you know, doing music, you know, blah blah blah. It just takes up so much of your time that I haven't had the time to do videos as often, or with all the theatrics like I used to a few years ago. But we're getting back to that. And if you look at some of my recent videos, you know what I mean, you'll see that. You'll see that. Especially look at the prediction video I had for Ngannou and Fury, and the prediction videos that I had for Spence and Crawford. If you guys look at the breakdown video I did for Spence and Crawford with the slowed down film study, it don't get no more accurate than that, man. Bullseye. I'm pretty on point because I'm a martial artist, and that doesn't mean that I know more than anybody else, but I have a knack of just seeing the ordinary and believing my eyes. I think that people see the same things that I see sometimes, but they don't believe their eyes or trust their eyes. And maybe that's because they haven't been in the ring, or they haven't been in the dojo, or they haven't been there long enough to really feel comfortable with what they're seeing and believe it for what it is. But when you do things for a while and you fought against people that are worse than you, as good as you, killers that are better than you, you get a sense of what works and what doesn't work. You get a sense of what can be landed and what is complete like fantasy. You know what works in real life versus what works in Tekken or Street Fighter, right? So that's the perspective I come from. Sadell, shout out to you, man. Thanks for coming in. He said I can definitely use you. He says, yo, bro, I'm doing a sports podcast in August. I can definitely use you, bro. You're highly talented at this. I've been paying attention. I appreciate that, man. I'm actually humbled by you guys saying that. You know, I talk a lot of stuff and I go off road and, you know, go off on tangents here and there, but I hear everything that's said. I see what you guys are doing, and I appreciate the sentiment, man. I can't really put it any more straightforward than that. So that's it for this episode. Let me know what you guys think. I will be covering the fight coming up between Arthur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol. Actually, two fighters that I follow closely. I've been following them since like 2016-17. So the fact that they're finally matching up for all four belts at 175, I'm telling y'all, if y'all don't, I know y'all know Bivol because of the Canelo fight, right? But if you don't know Beterbiev, get familiar real fucking fast, because that is one of the boogeymans in boxing. I think that's a 100% knockout rate, if I'm not mistaken. You can't get better than that. Just saying. All right, so that's it for tonight. I'm about to go out and enjoy my night and get ready for the Sixers game tomorrow. I will be dropping a video on that. But with that being said, catch y'all later, man. Peace.